24, great team. One of their standouts is Jaden Leday. Just from watching his film, do you see any sort of weaknesses there?
Well, I certainly wouldn't use the word weakness to describe any part of him. Uh, I think he's the strongest guy in all of college basketball. So, uh, that's the big challenge with him, and that's probably the thing that's hardest is just how strong he is. And it's a strength that's obviously physical, but it's also a mental one in terms of he's very old, uh, and then throw in the experience along with that. So. Uh, his greatest strength is his strength, and we're going to have to deal with that. But, in some respects, we have to deal with it every game. I just think he's probably the strongest of them all. He's improved in his overall game. Uh, but ultimately it's just going to be able to come down to see how we can sort of deal with, uh, you know, the rebounding aspect, the interior play aspect of it. And, obviously that's how they play. That's how Boise play. That's how teams play. And, that we're going to have to be ready to deal with that, for 40 minutes.
You look at the performances against guys like Toppin, Dagenhart, Osabor, definitely some struggles there. What can you guys do differently to neutralize some of those bigs?
Well, I don't, I think that's something we have to continue to get better collectively, team-wise at whatever, our post defense is. We have to get collectively better in terms of, okay, is that guy's doing his job post defense wise? How are the other guys helping? What are their responsibilities help wise? And then the third part is as we keep figuring these things out we might not ultimately in the end be able to, you got to minimize as much as you can. One of those is the rebounding aspect because, even last game in the first seven, it's a 2-point game with 2:44 to go in the first half. And, the game was being played the way we wanted. They were struggling to get what they wanted. But then it comes down to the rebounding. We can't make them struggle. We can't make them sort of score the way we want and have to work so hard, but then give up the offensive rebound in that bucket or give them the extra chance at it. So, in the end, you work to limit it as much as you can. We have to get better on the misses. And then the third part is if you can't say stop a guy like Ledee, you can only limit him. Well, then you got to make sure that, this guy's not getting 3-point shots, because somewhere, and that's the challenge. We're talking about stopping somebody inside, and then my next thing is, and then you got to stop them outside too. So, but we have to continue to get better at saying, okay, well, one of those 3-point shooters, they're not allowed to get them, and I think in these cases what you've seen, because the teams are really good, they've gotten both against us. And when they get both, you got no chance. And really, the third is the offensive rebounding. They get all three, you got no chance. So somewhere in those three things, we got to continue to sort of shrink the gap there. And that's where if we can shrink it in each one of those areas, it's good. I don't know if we can ever take away the big one aspect. That's where that 3-point shooting thing, I know we have to do better in that area.
I asked you after the New Mexico game, you were very complimentary about the atmosphere, both home and visiting fans. What do you think can be done to get more butts in the seats consistently for Air Force basketball games?
Well, obviously, I think the crowds have been fine. I never know, here at this place, with the cadets. You never know, and I don't really concern myself with that. I think outside of that, the crowds have been pretty good. And what we have to do, I'm just a firm believer in. You can talk about it all you want. You can do this, do that. All you're doing is talking about it. In the end, until such time as we, sort of become a consistent team where our performance on the court is consistent. We showed it at times. We're still young. We're still learning. We're still growing. That's what the rest of the year is about for us, is getting tougher, is getting stronger. Your responsibility is to get better through a season. So how does a 19-year-old sophomore named Kellen Boylan learn to get stronger and tougher through a season, and same thing with the other guys who are doing this. But when that time comes, that's when you can make see, okay, well, that's the answer to putting people in the stands is, everybody wants to go watch a team who wins. Here, I really think it comes down to is I don't know if it's quote unquote wins. It's they know it when they see it. And when they see us being that competitive and that tough and have that sort of toughness and that kind of grit, which we don't have yet, that's when I think, people will be in the stands. I think history has proven that. I think that's proven everywhere, unless your name's Kansas. Unless you're some of the schools in this league. You know what I mean? That's the challenge with this league. Everybody, somebody said the other day, I told my guys this, Boise State's promoting, hey, another sellout, another sellout. Yeah, well, guys, we're so lucky. You're so lucky that you get to play in this place where all they're doing is promoting a sellout, and you got to embrace that, and embrace that challenge, and hopefully, that's the thing that's going to make us keep going and improving. But let's just be honest, we're nothing like the teams in this league when it comes to those things, and that is a big part of this, because they certainly have that home court. But we got good teams in this league. So again, ultimately in the end, if you're good, people will be there, and I believe that's true here.
Coming off the Boise game on the road now, a super quick turnaround back at home. Do you kind of like that it is a quick turnaround? Because I know you don't have control really of the schedule, but do you like that quick turnaround, or wish you kind of, had more days to capitalize on your mistakes?
Yeah, I think, it can go both ways. Really, this time of year, I just think the turnaround time is more related to probably health, is more related to if a guy like Reedus, who's been, sick and is still not 100%, like is getting to 100%. At this time of year, nobody's 100%. So the whole thing with the break or whatever the time frame is, it's for that. Other than that, you get into this rhythm of playing, which I think is good. And, I thought we had a day yesterday where, we were able to get some things done so that today, when we get out on that court, we can have a hard, sharp practice. It's focused on San Diego State, and this is what we got to do, and our guys sort of know that. And you just sort of get into that rhythm this time of year. And again, I think to handle it, the age, the experience, the health, the physical strength is probably the most important thing. So, hopefully Kellens can be as healthy as he can be because he's banged up. Hopefully Reedus is feeling better, and that goes down across the line, because ultimately that's going to have a big say in, how we play tomorrow.
And then I also just haven't had the chance to talk to you at all this season so far, but how would you assess this team? I know you guys only have, I think, 8 or 9 games left in conference play. How would you assess just the team overall?
Well, obviously, from a results perspective, we're not happy. But I see a lot of positives. I see things to build on. I see, like I just said, when you're talking about in this league, we got a 19-year-old sophomore who never played before this season. He's in February, and he's playing against Jaden Ledeen. He's playing against these guys who've played, 130 college basketball or whatever it is, and they're 24 years old. That's a whole experience, and you have to go through that. And that's, my message to the team is it's our responsibility to just learn how to get better throughout a college basketball season, and what makes you get better through a college basketball season. And really what makes you get better is toughness. What makes you get better is, sort of the discipline that you need to be tough enough to handle what it is. And then the experience of knowing, well, ultimately that form of toughness is just, do what you do. Boise State's really good. You know what they do? They do what they do. They do it every single possession. We're playing a team tomorrow night. You know what they're going to do? They're going to do what they do, and they're going to do it every single possession. Now, as they do that, they're really good because they got guys that are 23 and 24 and 22 and all that stuff. But we have to get to that point where, okay, guys, this is how you get better and tougher. And it really is just that toughness. And like I said, the game Saturday was a disappointing result, but, to watch us play for, 29-27 our ball with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the first half, to see how we've played to that point, to see that's what you got to do, and you got to do it over and over again, and we don't have that experience yet, and you got to do it against this highest level of competition, the 5th best league in the country. I'll be able to answer the question much better in a month to see how we do in February with that, how the team sort of grows that way throughout the month in February, because that's really going to be the indicator of, okay, hey, we made some good progress. And that's what our focus is going to be on here tomorrow and throughout the whole month of February until we get into March.